Book Monster.
Hi everyone, my name is Book Monster. Today I'm going to tell you about the book, How to Sell Anything to Anybody.
Ouch.
How to Sell Anything to Anybody by Joe Girard. Chapter 1. The End of a Loser, the Birth of a Winner. Joe says that he had a difficult childhood. He grew up in a poor family, and his father constantly beat him without reason and said that he was a total nerd and would not achieve anything in his life. Listening to this day after day, he began to believe his words. But then he decided to prove to himself and his father that he was worth something. He began to walk around bars and clean workers' boots for a small fee, with which you could only buy one ice cream. Then, when he was 8, he began to earn money as a newspaper peddler. One of the rules he learned from his childhood was that the more people he offered something to, the more sales he made. Even if 9 people refused, the 10th would certainly buy. Then, he robbed the bar with his accomplices but made such a great coup that the barman didn't insist on his arrest. After that, he changed jobs a lot. Joe didn't serve in the army because he injured his back and was exempt from service in the armed forces. In general, his life was useless until he met a man called Abe Saperstein, who was engaged in real estate. Joe began to work for him and soon after started a family. After a little while, Abe left him his whole business. Business was looking well until he was deceived with the land plot, after which he owed a large amount to creditors. He had no money in his pockets and nothing to feed his wife and children. To provide for his family, he got into the car business. From that moment on, he began to become the greatest merchant in the world. He was listed in the Guinness Book of Records. With this story, the author wanted to say that regardless of your childhood, and no matter how much money you have in your pocket, if you have a hankering for something, you will achieve it. Chapter 2. It all starts with the desire. Before you start selling something, you must first know what you want. Second, you must know exactly what you can get if you sell your product to a new customer. In our case, Joe wanted to provide a decent life for his children and knew that if he sold a car to the person standing before him, he could buy the necessary things and products. So he wasted all his energy to make a deal. Chapter 3. A burdock is a person. In Detroit, Michigan, a man who wanted to buy a car was called a burdock by the tradesman. You have to treat your customer with respect because they subconsciously feel when they will be deceived and when the tradesman treats them disrespectfully. Therefore, the person starts thinking that the seller is trying to extract all of their money and begins to evade and hesitate, and therefore wastes your time. As a result, neither you nor your client are happy. In fact, your clients are people who work hard to earn their money and are genuinely interested in buying something from you. Coming into a salon, they are afraid that the seller might deceive them about something. You will have a chance to sell something if you overcome the initial fear of your customer. If you are friendly, approachable, and honest, both you and your customer will benefit from it. The customer will then have no doubt that he bought a good car and will recommend you to their friends. Subsequently, you will get more and more new customers each time. So make the client a friend and they will work for you. Chapter 4. The Law of 250. Whatever feelings you have for your client, don't let them influence your behavior. Remember, thanks to your clients, you make your living. Joe believes that everyone has an average of 250 people in their lives who are important enough to them to invite them to a wedding or a funeral. That means that if you see 100 different people a week and only 2 of them are unhappy with the way you treated them, by the end of the year there will be over 5,000 people who are negatively affected by those 2. So you shouldn't let even one person leave you upset and unsatisfied. It doesn't matter what kind of jerk the customer is. If you find the right approach, they can put money in your pocket. So even if you are in a bad mood, try to restrain yourself. Chapter 5. Do not join this club. That means you don't want to get together with another seller and talk about what they did last night or other topics that have nothing to do with work, because you would be wasting your time. If everyone is slacking off, try to take on all your customers. That way, you can use more different approaches to the customer and sell more often. So, treat other employees with friendliness, but in the workplace, try to keep it strictly businesslike. Chapter 6. What do you do after you make a sale? Whatever you sell, there will always be people who want to buy it from you. For that to happen, you only need to find them. To do so, Joe has just taken the phone book and started calling everyone in order. Yes, many refused him, and some did not pick up the phone at all. But there were those few people who then came to the store and bought cars from him. In any case, even such meager results are better than standing in a smoking room and discussing how your day was with random men. For people who are not yet interested in a car, you can ask what car they are driving now, when they are going to buy a new one, and other leading questions. Once you know all this information, put such a person on your list and call them back a couple of months later to ask when they would like to change their car and, in every way possible, induce them to buy a car from your car dealership. If by this time they have already bought a car, ask if they know of any acquaintances who are going to go to the dealership in the near future. You can even offer them a discount. No matter what you are selling, take your time to find out all the information you need and then use it. For example, let's say you sell computers to companies. Before you make an offer, first try to find out as much as possible about the company. How many people work there? How long ago they last bought computers, how often they need repairs, whether the firm is growing now, whether they are going to hire new people. All this information will later help you build your offer so that they will certainly place an order. Chapter 7. Fill the seats on your Ferris wheel. Make sure everyone knows what you do. So first, tell all your friends and acquaintances about it. According to the law of 250, a lot more people will soon know about you. When someone buys a car from you, ask the person where they work and if, for example, they are a butcher. If so, try to sometimes buy meat from them. This way, you will not only establish a relationship, but you may also get new customers because the butcher sometimes talks to their customers and may just inadvertently recommend you. Chapter 8. Hunting with Bloodhounds. You can also motivate other people to look for clients for you. Let's say you get 30 or 50% of your commission for a sold car. You can negotiate with people in professions that often talk to their customers, such as hairdressers or stylists. If you receive a call requesting how much a car is, you should never underestimate its price just to lure a person into a car dealership and then cite a mistake to try to sell it for its real value. The customer, in this case, will feel cheated. However, you can give a minimum price for the car without any additional features, such as an air conditioner, a navigator, and so on. That will be the price at which you can sell this car, but without everything in it. If you see that there is a man before you who can influence the masses, then you can sell him a car by discounting the amount of your commission, so you get a bloodhound in your ranks who will tell his acquaintances and people who listen to him about you. You can also offer him 50% of your commission for each client he brings in. Thanks to these bloodhounds alone, Joe has sold about 550 cars. Chapter 9. Direct conversation with the client. Make the customer feel obligated. For example, if a person is choosing a car, invite them to your office under the pretext that you can choose the best option for them there, and then offer them a cup of coffee or a glass of whiskey. If the client came with children, you should have some candies and balloons in stock. In any case, you need to treat the client with something because, psychologically, a person tends to return the favor, and so they will be more likely to buy a car from you. Chapter 10. How to sell smell. In new cars, clients are attracted by the smell, but some people don't want to get in the car because they're afraid of feeling obligated to buy it afterward. So, you have to push the customer into the car in every way possible to make them feel it. People in general, before they buy, like to try things out, touch them, hold them with their hands, and play with them. So, let them do that. Chapter 11. Espionage and Intelligence. Always rope the customer in the conversation so you can let them open up to you. Ask them what they need the car for, what brand they would prefer, why they made that choice, who advised them, and if at work, where they work. As you get the answers to your questions, you can saturate yourself in the subject. In this way, the client will start to trust you. Chapter 12. The Final Tacking. If you repair and sell televisions, among other things, you can take advantage of immediate delivery. For example, customers might call you and ask if you can repair their TVs. You should find out how old the TV is, who the manufacturer is, and so on. Then you should say that you intend to come right now and want to bring a spare TV, which the family can use while the old one is in repair. Here, as I understand it, this method only works if the client has a product older than a Mammoth. And it turns out that this repair, as a rule, takes a week or two, during which the client will get used to a new product and eventually want to buy it. But before you bring in a new product to the client first, you need to find out about their ability to pay. That is, if you see that they live in a shack, you probably shouldn't make such a gesture. Chapter 13. Winning after signing the deal. After you sell an item, update your customer's information. Make a note of what they bought from you and when you think they should call again to offer additional services or renew the product. Also, send the customer a thank you note and remind them that you will pay 50% if they come from them. A couple of months after buying the car, call your customer and ask if everything is okay and if there has been any trouble with the product. Also, ask if any of their friends is going to buy a car in the foreseeable future. Once you have a large stream of clients who ask specifically for you, you probably won't find time to answer the phone or send thank you notes. So delegate these responsibilities by hiring some students who also want to start working in this field. Let them take care of all the minor duties while you focus on clients. Then, if the flow of customers is too great, hire another person to entertain them until it's their turn. For example, to show cars, offer a ride, and so on. In doing so, they may, by chance, find out how old the client's car is, what mileage it has, what the client does for a living, and what their hobbies are. When the customer's time comes, your assistant will already have passed you all the information they have learned about the customer. Hi, if you liked this video, and I know you did, put a like under this video. Subscribe to my channel and leave a comment, the name of the book you'd like to listen.